I've always been the type of person to stay low and just live my life as a nobody. That was until a couple of days ago. For some reason, I now have the urge to be famous, or in my case, infamous. The max bounty you can get in Red Dead Redemption 2 is $1,500. There's also a grand total of 5 states in Red Dead Redemption 2, those being New Austin, West Elizabeth, Ambarino, New Hanover, and Lemoyne. You can probably see where this is going. Oh, and one more thing. To make this challenge a little more interesting, I've decided to spin a wheel to decide which weapons I'll use to kill innocent NPCs in each state. Will I be able to become the most wanted man in Red Dead Redemption 2? Let's find out. The first state I'm going to do is New Austin. Before I do that though, I need to spin the wheel. Nice, I got a shotgun. I beat the entire game only using a shotgun, so I'd say I'm pretty well prepared. I decided to start my massacre off by brutally destroying this police officer's stomach. After that, I started going Rambo on everybody. Until Sheriff Freeman shot me back to reality. Come on, dude, you could have let me live out my dream of being Rambo for just a little bit longer. Nonetheless, it would definitely be smart to obliterate him before anybody else, so I did just that. You guys want to know something? You don't? Well, I'm gonna tell you anyway. I genuinely thought that I was going to feel bad for slaughtering all of these innocent NPCs, but to be honest, I don't. You just can't beat the feeling of walking into a saloon and annihilating almost everyone in it. That may sound a little sadistic, but hey, if you enjoy it, what's the harm in doing it? Killing people gets pretty boring after a while, so I decided to spice it up a bit. For instance, I've always wanted to be the Terminator, so I finally tried it, and it surprisingly worked. The guy was so amazed by my Terminator impression that he forgot how to use a gun. I made sure to help him out by directing his focus to something else. It definitely worked. After that, I did a lot more exciting stuff, like bullying a police officer until he reached his breaking point, shooting some guy's head off, shooting some guy's leg off, shooting some guy's hands off. Basically just a lot of shooting stuff off with a pinch of bullying. Just how I like it. A couple minutes of mass murder later, I was finally able to get a $1,500 bounty. All I had to do now was escape, which was a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. I mean, we are in the middle of a desert though, so I guess it makes sense. Since we just killed almost everybody in New Austin, I have a pretty hefty bounty. It's not enough though. To become the most wanted man in Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm gonna have to do what I just did about 4 more times. Speaking of doing what I just did about 4 more times, let's move on to the next state. The next state I'm gonna do is West Elizabeth. Before I can start killing everybody, I have to spin the wheel. Oh, nice. You may be wondering why I'm so happy about getting the pistol option. Well, what these innocent NPCs don't know is that I have the most overpowered pistol in the game. I'm not gonna lie, I kinda feel bad for all the pain and suffering I'm about to bring upon these NPCs. Emphasis on kinda. I saw an NPC smoking, so I decided to start my killing spree off by shooting the life out of him. This would make for a great anti-smoking commercial. As I was peacefully shooting a police officer, some rude man ran his stagecoach into me, resulting in me almost falling over. It's surprising how many people don't know common etiquette these days. After that, I was starting to get overwhelmed by all the police officers trying to murder me, so I made my way up this building. Once I got to the top, I came up with a near-perfect strategy. All I did was stay at the top and shoot anybody that came up. Now, remember how I said it was a near-perfect strategy? Yeah, well, the reason why it was near-perfect was because after doing it for a while, I ran out of ammo. I know, shocking, right? Thankfully, the game gave me some more ammo. I have absolutely no idea why, but to be honest, who cares? A little while later, I decided to get down from the building. That was probably one of the stupidest things I've ever done in this game, because not even a couple seconds later, some police officers used me as target practice. As you could probably tell, their aim was pretty good. I'm actually kinda glad this happened though, because the entire town was filled with innocent NPCs again. I also got to keep my entire bounty, which was around $1,200 at the time. Anyways, enough talking, let's get back to the killing. Instead of running around like a lunatic or going on top of a building, I decided to take cover in the saloon, and to be honest, it actually worked pretty well. I was having so much fun obliterating all the cops that I didn't even notice my bounty was at $1,500. Time goes by fast when you're having fun. Escaping this time was a lot harder than last time, mostly due to this place not being a desert in the middle of nowhere. Nonetheless, I was eventually able to escape. The next state I'm gonna do is Ambarino. Let's see what weapon I get this time. A bow is definitely not the most ideal weapon, especially when I'm trying to become the most wanted man in Red Dead Redemption 2, but it'll do. The not so great thing about Ambarino is that there's barely any civilization, which is definitely not good considering this whole challenge is about me killing people. Thankfully, there's a train that comes through here, so I started looking for it. Once I found it, I started killing everybody until I eventually became wanted. It took the police officers a while to get here, but once they did, I rewarded them with free brain piercings. They should consider themselves lucky since I'm the only person that does brain piercings. I wonder why. Like I said before, Ambarino has barely any civilization, so I wasn't able to keep my wanted level for long. I was able to get a pretty decent bounty though, so all I had to do now was find out how to get wanted again, and I had just the idea. The idea I had in mind was to kill an unfortunate NPC and then let his friend tell the cops. His friend was surprisingly fast, especially considering that we're nowhere near any police stations. After I was done putting massive, gaping, bloody, gory, crimson stain- Oops. Sorry, I was getting a wee bit carried away. After I was done, putting all the cops to sleep, I needed to find another way to get wanted, so I put one of the sleepy police officers on my horse. You may be wondering why I did that. Well, if I just so happen to find an NPC and the NPC just so happens to tell the cops that I have a sleepy police officer on my horse, then I'd get wanted. Simple, right? Well, ignoring the fact that I had to not so simply spend the entire day looking for an NPC, but yeah, pretty simple. A couple glorious minutes of mass murder later, I heard a train coming by, so I immediately started going after it. Once I got in the train, I started giving every passenger a buy one arrow, get one arrow free deal. Most of them declined it though, so I ended up giving all of the passengers only one arrow. After that not so successful arrow selling venture, I decided to just do the good old put a decaying corpse on the back of my horse and hopefully get wanted tactic. It obviously worked. Arrows and bullets were flying everywhere. John didn't want to miss out on the fun, so he tried to fly as well. As you could probably tell, it did not work. You know what else didn't work? My horse's legs after getting sideswept by another horse. I thought I was gonna have to put my horse out of its misery, but thankfully I had a horse reviver. You know what else I had? A $1,500 bounty. I would normally say that all I had to do now was escape, but it seems like I already did. You know this place is barren when you can escape the law by doing absolutely nothing. Trust me though, I'm not complaining. Before I move on to the next state, if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. It would really help out the channel, let alone make me a very happy content creator. Anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's get back to the video. The next state I'm gonna do is New Hanover. Let's see what weapon I get this time. Okay, I'll take it. I have quite a few rifles, but in the end I decided to go with the rolling block rifle and the bolt action rifle so I could obtain maximum killing efficiency. If you didn't already know, efficiency is one of the most important aspects to becoming the most wanted man in Red Dead Redemption 2. Since I'm such an efficient person, I decided to start my mass murdering frenzy by sniping people from the top of this stable. Screams were heard, blood was shed, but most importantly, I was getting bored of sniping people, so I got down from the stable and started bolt action rifling people. I am 110% sure that bolt action rifling isn't the right choice of words to explain what I'm doing, but let's just go with it. Off topic, but did you guys know that John Marston has a hidden talent? The hidden talent I'm talking about is none other than his insane parkour skills. He would definitely win American Ninja Warrior. You know what else he'd win? America's Most Wanted, because look at how many police officers are coming to apprehend him. When I say apprehend him, I obviously mean brutally murder him. Now, personally, I don't really want to get brutally murdered, especially when I'm on this insane killing streak, so I decided to hide in this room. As it turns out, hiding did absolutely nothing because they already knew where I was. This was definitely a very inconvenient situation because there's now a very high chance of death. Straight up death. Now, that may sound bad, but you know what they say. With great risk comes great reward. In my case, the great reward was obtaining a $1,500 bounty. Sadly, there's another saying. With great reward comes greater risk. In my case, the greater risk was escaping because my gosh, there were a ton of cops. It also didn't help that John felt like showing some more of his hidden talent. Like, dude, at this point you should probably just keep your hidden talent hidden. Nonetheless, I was eventually able to escape. The next state I'm gonna do is Lemoyne. As you could probably tell, this is the final state that I have to do. Hopefully I get a good weapon. Definitely not what I had in mind when I said hopefully I get a good weapon, but hey, I did beat the entire game only using throwables, so this should be pretty easy. I saw a trolley full of innocent NPCs, so I went inside and started killing them. I thought they would have started running, but instead they all just sat there and watched me pick them off one by one. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is definitely a lot easier than chasing after all of them, but still. After I was done with the trolley, I saw this random horse, so I tried getting on it, and yeah, I guess it didn't really like me. This was very inconvenient, especially considering that I had around 15 cops chasing after me. As much as I love getting my cardio in, it would have been nice to have a horse. 27 first-degree murder charges later, I found a wagon, and what better way to use a wagon than using it to commit vehicular manslaughter? Running people over is a whole lot of fun, but just like everything else in life, it eventually came to an end. In my case, it came to an end when I ran into an invincible horse. Only in Red Dead Redemption 2 would you casually run into an invincible horse. I kinda envy that horse though, because I had around 20 cops trying to put a bullet in my head. A lot of death, blood, sweat, tears, and whatever else you can think of later, I finally got a $1,500 bounty. All I had to do now was escape. That should be pretty easy. Right? Wrong. The first issue was that my horse was basically on the other side of Saint Denis, so I had to run all the way over there. When I finally got to my horse, I was only able to ride it for a couple of seconds because they immediately killed it. On the bright side though, I was able to find a stagecoach. Nothing will ever be able to replace the memories that me and my horse had, but it'll do for now. After aimlessly riding around for a while, I was able to escape, which means that I've officially gotten the max bounty in every state in Red Dead Redemption 2. You may be wondering why I didn't say I became the most wanted man in Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, it's because there's still one more thing that I have to do, which is surviving for 3 consecutive days. Why do I need to do this? Well, why not? It makes the challenge a whole lot harder for me, and it adds more content to the video for you guys. Anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's begin. Day 1 started with me trying to find a good place to set up camp. Once I found a pretty decent spot, I set up camp and had a delicacy that goes by the name plain pork. I had to celebrate getting max bounty in every state somehow. After that, I was feeling a little tired, so I decided to go to bed. Day 2 started with me hearing the sounds of angry bounty hunters, and when I say angry bounty hunters, I mean a lot of angry bounty hunters. I've already killed a couple thousand people, so what's the harm in killing some more? After killing all but one of the bounty hunters, I decided to hogtie the last one up and then feed him to an alligator. Why did I feed the last bounty hunter to an alligator? To be honest, I have absolutely no idea, but it was pretty entertaining nonetheless. After riding around for a bit, I came across an abandoned town. I gotta say though, for an abandoned town, it sure felt welcoming. Sadly, there were no suitable beds to sleep on in the town, so instead I just set up camp close to the town. It's better than nothing. Day 3 started with me yet again hearing the sounds of a lot of angry bounty hunters. I had no choice but to kill them all, so I did just that. To be honest though, even if I did have a choice on whether to kill them all or not, I'd still choose to kill them all. It's just how I roll. Since it was the final day that I had to survive, I wanted to celebrate, so I stole some random guy's horse and started making my way towards Valentine. You may be wondering why I chose Valentine. Well, in my opinion, Valentine is one of the best towns in Red Dead Redemption 2. It also conveniently has a hotel, and to be honest, I'd much rather sleep in a nice warm bed than on the cold, wet, disgusting ground. After riding for a little while longer, I was finally able to get to Valentine. The first thing I did was go to the saloon so I could get a bite to eat, and to my surprise, I accidentally bumped into some random drunk guy. He was so angry with me that he challenged me to a duel. That's just a teensy bit too far in my opinion, but I could never turn down a duel, so I accepted the challenge. Just as we were about to start, the guy passed out. I would have absolutely demolished him anyway, so it's probably for the better. I kinda lost my appetite, so I decided to just go and take a bath instead. I'm not gonna lie, the bath was actually pretty enjoyable, especially considering that I haven't taken one for the past decade. Once I got out of the bath, I went up to my hotel room and went straight to bed because to be honest with you, I just really like sleeping. Once I woke up, it officially marked the end of day 3, which means that I've successfully become the most wanted man in Red Dead Redemption 2. That took a lot longer than I thought it was gonna take. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, and if you haven't already and you like my content, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.